Dear students, let us discuss 21st December 2016 Hindu newspaper. The first article is Jayalalithaa mistake. Now, in this, let us see what is the contribution of Dravidian movement to Indian politics and how Jayalalithaa has contributed to the welfare politics and in breaking the general barriers that are existing in Indian politics. If you take the lineage of the Dravid politics or Dravidian politics, the first it was DK, Dravida Kajakam, but that is by Periyar. Then we have DMK, this is by Annadurai, and then we got AIDMK and DMK, both are the rival parties today. One is by Karunanidhi, that other one is led by Ms. Jayalalithaa. Now, in this case, if you take the Hindu policy research observations, it says that Indian politics are patriarchal and they are male dominated, and most of the people in decision making positions in Indian political parties are from the upper caste. Now, the entire Dravid movement, it is based on anti-Brahminism. This is the self-respect movement of Mr. Periyar. So, Ms. Jayalalithaa, though having the identity in Brahminism, she was able to head the Dravidian party which has believed against to it, which has questioned the Brahminism. And second, she is known for her welfare policies. The welfaristic policies of Jayalalithaa are very much different when compared to the other states. And many of the states have taken these as the benchmark to assess their welfare politics. Let us see it this way. In Jayalalithaa case, Amma canteens, yesterday article if you can recollect, these have become the new urban social space for the people to interact with each other. And the second thing is, these efficiency with which these programs are being implemented. So she never gave space for weakness or else inefficiency in functioning of these welfare programs. So the public service delivery or welfare delivery meticulously planned and implemented. She also has brought in performance assessment system in the politics. The MLA's performance assessment is evaluated by her. So in this context, there are some remarkable changes which can be said as this way. Ms. Jayalalithaa has questioned the status quoism in the politics. That's why the DMK was indicated as symbolizing the status quoism in Tamil Nadu, and then Ms. Jayalalithaa was significant as change in Tamil Nadu. That is the reason why she was able to win the election consecutively for the second term without any alliances in Tamil Nadu. So, her major contribution is breaking the gender barriers, caste barriers, questioning the status quoism in politics, and then bringing the welfaristic programs. And above, center-state relations. Both the Dravidian parties are very vocal about the rights of the states. But however, Jayalalithaa is much vocal about this. If you compare the MGR era in Tamil Nadu and Jayalalithaa era, MGR era more is reconciliatory approach with center, and Jayalalithaa era is more of confrontationist approach with center if necessary. She was strong and bold if necessary with center, and at the same time she know what she want to have from the center and has got that through demand. So one more thing why this has happened is India has entered into a coalition politics or coalition phase, and the role of the regional parties have also increased. That might be one of the reasons why she was able to strengthen her position with the federal relations. Now coming to an unkind postscript. It is about the state and its role in India. Let me say it this way. The state has to be certain in its actions, has to give predictability to the citizens, and there shall be trust between the state and the citizens. If this trust is broken down, maintaining the integrity of the state and the citizen respect towards it becomes very difficult. Now, if we see the demonetization era or demonetization, how it is moving forward, the people are very much getting frustrated. And at the same time, the frequent change in the rules, government moving away from its commitments, that is providing for undue criticism or else it is leading to a kind of situation where the trust deficit is being built between the government and the citizens. And the second thing is, the overload on the banking sector is clearly visible. Most of the rules given by the RBI and the government, these are impractical, and the banks are making their own ground rules. With regard to the cash disbursal, or with regard to the present rule of 5,000 rupees is getting audited, every 5,000 rupees deposit will be getting audited, it gives unnecessary strain on the banking sector and the bankers. And this financial intermediation is critical for economic growth. If bankers are more and more seen with suspicion, and they are supposed to be accountable for 1.16% of the 2.5 lakhs where the tax is exempted, then the banking sector will be more, risk aversive. So in this context, the government has to be cautious, and it appears that government is getting panicked as its program did not go as expected. That's what the Hindu says. Angela Merkel's challenge. There are three challenges Angela Merkel is facing. One is immigration challenge, and the next one is growth of the right wing, maintaining the integrity of the European Union. Now, this week there are terror attacks in Berlin, and then the other European countries have also faced the terror attacks. France, UK, Belgium, all these are the victims. Now, many of the people focus this onto the immigration, especially from Syria and other West Asian countries. So, Angela Merkel, she was with a open door policy for the immigrants. And the second thing is, she is today considered as the protector of the liberal view, progressive liberalism. Because in the West, United States was still considered as so. But with the growth of, or with the Trump coming to the power in the United States, today Angela Merkel is looked at so. And then, if you take the France, Miss Maria Le Pen, and US, Mr. Trump, and in Italy, everywhere the right wing is growing into power or is coming into power, then how this liberal order has to be protected? And then, with the Grexit challenge, and then Brexit almost happening, the European Union is also facing severe constraints of its own. As more and more right-wing leaders comes to power, European Union is expected to get destabilized. As France is also going for elections, as the right wing appears to be strengthening, then how to maintain its integrity is the major question. Now let us see, time for a policy shift. Now here you have in the manufacturing sector organized and unorganized. Now let us compare this. Unorganized sector where the employment is very high. That's why unorganized sector is equated with a pro-poor sector. And the small and medium industries are being called as the pro-poor organizations. Now government, that's why provides the necessary protections to the same. Now let us see in the terms of efficiency how these perform. Now, the product quality and technical efficiency is high for the organized sector compared to the unorganized sector. As income of the people is increasing, people bound to shift towards the organized sector, products from the organized sector. And second, why unorganized sector is not able to make the profits as like organized sector? A normal belief is unorganized sector is efficient because there is a close watch and monitoring. But if we carefully observe, the lack of access to capital, lack of access to the resources, lack of access to market, infrastructure, these are the major reasons why unorganized sector is not efficient. If we compare geographical variations, the rural and urban unorganized sectors are doing better because of having access to market and infrastructure, and outsourcing is possible over there with regard to non-core performance. And coming to, in the unorganized sector, there are two types. Where the household or the employees are, there will be an establishment where non-households will also be employed. If we compare these establishments, they have the better productivity and the labor standards. Then what shall be the policy implication for us? We have to shift our small and medium enterprises, which are under the household, to the non-household enterprises. And then from unorganized sector to organized sector. If we have to strengthen the unorganized sector, we need to provide for the access to capital, infrastructure, and market. So this is what we need to do. Leopards in spot. Let's see this way. The loss of habitat, it is bringing in man and animal conflict. Now, the leopard, it is coming up into the, human habitats, and human beings see it as a threat, or they perceive the threat. Under that perception, they are causing harm to the animal. If you see the Wildlife Protection Act, it do not allow any of these. Only when this animal is dangerous or diseased, then only there is a right to kill. And also there is a due process for this. In this, the chief warden of the wildlife, he has to give the permission for killing the animal, then only it shall be allowed for. But people taking the life of the animal into their hands is not in accordance with the law of this country. And second is, as for the Wildlife Protection Act, the animal need not be restricted only to the wildlife sanctuaries or the parks. The animal has the right to roam across till it do not cause any danger to the human beings. So in this context, people taking this has to be controlled and educated. Now coming to the news, Mr. Kyrgyzstan President Atambayev, he is visiting India, and we made certain agreements. One is, we are conducting the joint exercises, these are called Kanzar. And if you remember, Mughals of India are from Kyrgyzstan. And in this case, the anti-terrorist or anti-terror agreements or cooperation on terrorism has become a part of these two countries. And the second thing is, this Kyrgyzstan is strategically also very much important because it has rich energy resources. And second is, the infrastructure which is being developed by India, the Chabahar port, it will provide for this Central Asian country an access to Afghanistan and then to South Asia. So this is what is being expressed by the visiting president. Next is political parties. The political parties are 100% tax exempt. Now if you remember, recently Prime Minister Modi has asked all his MPs, his party MPs, to submit their deposits to the party president, not to the election commission. So to the party president. But however, 100% tax exempt all the political party money is. But it is not the MPs of the political party. So that's why don't get confused between these two. And in this case, it has been questioned that why political parties need to be exempt from the income tax. In this, many of the political parties which are registered with the election commission, they are non-functional, more than 200 political parties. So that's why. So it has been questioned that the Supreme Court is expected to take this particular petition and look into the matter. So the Representation of the People's Act and then Income Tax Act, so they need to be amended to make the political parties accountable for their finances. That's what about. Coming to business, users must pay for rail services. Any service, it will be viable only when the user base is high and users are paying for their services. So when users pay for services, the demands for efficiency increases. So the customer orientation is about bringing or establishing a transactional relationship between the service provider and the service taker. That is one thing to improve the efficiency. Here we give the voice to the customer to question the quality of the services. And second is bringing in competition. And third one is providing for more transparency in the functioning of the organization. So in this case, the competition is absent in the functioning of the railways. But however, the populistic measures has kept the customer away from questioning the railways. So we need to bring in a user-centered questioning of the quality of the rail services and a transactional understanding between the user and the service provider to improve the quality of services according to Mr. Jayalalithaa. So these are the articles for today. As usual, we discussed the notes at the end. I'm not going to discuss the